clean, right?
Yes.
Nice and clean. Not to mention that this is an organic cotton t-shirt. I'll get into more about fashion later, but that was also my motivation for wearing this t-shirt. So, just to tell you a little bit about me, I started recycling like back in the 1980s, right? Before it was the crisis that it is now. We actually thought that we could recycle our way out of it, right? There's no longer recycling, right? We all make ourselves feel better by going to the grocery store and we put our plastic bags in the thing and then we take our plastic bottles and we recycle them. But the reality is only 9% of everything that you put in those recycling bins gets recycled. Where does the rest of it end up? The oceans. It ends up in the oceans. That is the reality. So I am here to remind you, and maybe I have a little bit of a Jewish grandmother in me, or an Italian mama in me, even though I'm neither, that I'm going to guilt you into your way to possibly changing and considering what you use and what you do on a daily basis, right? So here I'm coming to do a plastics presentation, and I go to your lunchroom. What do I see? Plastic water bottles, plastic containers for the fruit, styrofoam cups, right? Does anybody know about nurdles? Oh, good. I can tell you about nurdles. All right. So what makes me, oh, see, now here we go. All right. I'm not the steals and deals person either. So, all right. I'm the Master Gardener from 2021. I believe that we live in Rachel Carson country, right? So we are compelled to follow in her footsteps. Silent Spring was not a fallacy, right? So ideas for changing your personal plastic footprint, right? Are we conscious with our decision making? Are we conscientious with each of our daily decisions? Because with like 8 billion people on the planet, one straw you might not think makes a difference. But if everybody uses a straw that day, your straw makes a difference, right? So 3 things. I want you to take 3 things from this today. Convenience, conscious, and Christmas. That's what we're going to focus on today. So let's talk about convenience. We all go to the grocery store, right? This is me. I boldly carry this bag, right? I am silently judging your plastic bag, right? So why is that? Where do these things come from? Whether you have ubiquitously used them in your child's lunch, if you forget your reusable bag, oh, well, I forgot them, and here I am at the grocery store. It just so happened that my Sierra Club magazine, you probably could imagine I'm a member of the Sierra Club of this conversation, right? So my Sierra Club magazine came on Friday, right? And here on the front cover, here's a faucet, and what's coming out of the faucet? One of those blue plastic bags. So the article is about Beaver County, Pennsylvania. The Titans of Plastic. Pennsylvania becomes the newest sacrifice zone for America's plastic addiction. What is it about? It is about that cracker plant that was built in Beaver County, right? If you look, that is it. All those lights in here, that's the cracker plant. What do? They take the waste from fracking and then emit ethane. They use these high temperatures to crack molecules apart, and the final product is turned into virgin plastic pellets. You have those styrofoam things, you see those little styrofoam balls, those are nurdles. Nurdles are the second biggest polluter in the ocean, right? So nurdles are what is used to make this plastic bottle. They come in all these little balls, and imagine them going into waterways. Imagine them going into the water that we drink. Fish mistake them for eggs, and so they eat them. Now, if fish are eating them and you're eating fish, what happens, right? We're all part of this plastic problem. So they've now said that this area where this is being produced is Cancer Alley, right? Because all of this that's being emitted into the atmosphere, it's linked to brain, liver, kidney issues, cardiovascular and respiratory disease, miscarriages, birth defects, and childhood leukemia and cancer. So, you know, you may not be motivated to not use a plastic bag, but I want to connect the dots for you. Connect the nurdles for you, because every decision that you make to buy new saran wrap or new Glad wrap or new styrofoam cups is contributing to this. So these pellets, they're used to make consumer products, single-use plastic packaging, microplastics. 230,000 tons of these nurdles wind up in the oceans every year. Every year. And it's because we consumers who have a voice and have a choice continue to be sold that it's convenient for us. So we have to change our definition of convenience. I walk into Giant Eagle, and whenever the cute little checkout girl or guy says to me, would you like paper or plastic? Or no, would you like plastic? And I want to scream at them. I really want to go, no, I don't want plastic, right? They have this thing that pre-COVID, by 2022, it was going to be eliminated. It's not. So what can we do? We can make the choice to use a paper bag and reuse a paper bag. You might say, well, I use it for kitty litter. I use mine for kitty litter because you can't imagine. I don't use plastic bags. I have a stack this high of plastic bags. Why? Because my lunch meat comes in it, my bread comes in it, my magazines come in it. I have all of this that all right, I'll recycle it. So it didn't have to be this way. One of the things about having a mother who's a pack rat, and then you yourself become one, is that I didn't open boxes after my parents died for probably 7 years. And here I come across this bag. It is from Foodland. Does anybody remember Foodland? Foodland, right? Okay, Foodland fadeaways. A photo-biodegradable bag, because Foodland cares about the environment. This bag is probably from, my mom died in 1998, so let's figure it's from the 1990s sometime. Here is another bag. Does anybody remember? Ripped Drug. Yes. Yeah. Ripped Drug looks and feels like plastic, right? The one you can trust. This bag is photo-biodegradable from the 1990s.
It's not been out there, son. It's been kept in the shade.
Well, it has been. It's been in boxes and cedar chests, but whenever I started thinking about this, I was like, it didn't have to be this way. This was made of corn. This was made of a biodegradable substance. So what happened, right? Gasoline prices came down, and the oil companies had to figure out a way to make money. So they marketed to all of us. One of the things on my Zoom presentation, I show you a Tropicana commercial, right? Tropicana, so you now not only have the bottle of Tropicana, but you have the handle to make it a very convenient little pitcher. Isn't that wonderful? Your families are sold orange juice in a plastic container. So, and then there's the single-use bottles of Tropicana all around, and then there's the baby bottles that you're heating and using, right? We've kind of gotten smart at this point that BPA and PFAS shouldn't be in our food because of the cancer-causing properties. But we're still being marketed this on a daily basis. So I have this picture of my beautiful crystal pitcher that I put my frozen orange juice. They remember stirring that. That's how I do orange juice. How do I do iced tea? Never buy iced tea. Oh my gosh, I saw it the other day in the grocery store. It's $5 for a plastic thing of iced tea. I take 3 tea bags, I put it in my Pyrex cup, I stir it up, I add a little sugar, and there it sits in my glass pitcher in my refrigerator. So again, it's how do I define convenience? My convenience is not spending $5 in the grocery store for a plastic item that has, I don't know what's leached into that iced tea because it's acidic, but my definition of convenience is I'll take the 5 minutes to make my iced tea instead of buying the new plastic, paying for it at the grocery store, and my 3 bags of tea probably cost me 25 cents, right? So we have to get back to what we kind of were decades ago. So in addition to Martha Stewart's Living going out, right? That was one of my favorite magazines. I now get Southern Living. So in this month's double issue for the fall of Southern Living, turtle heroes of Palm Beach, right? There are these people that look for the loggerhead turtles and all sorts of turtles, right? So despite their protected status, sea turtles endure humanity's slings and arrows in their oceanic home. They suffer accidental catch, entanglement in marine debris, laceration from outboard motors, the intestinal scourge caused by ingesting plastic. Your plastic, my plastic, right? Here's a picture of a crab stuck in one of our beautiful plastic bags, right? This is a picture from 2018 or 2019, whenever third world countries stopped taking our recycling, right? Everybody was like, oh no, we can't recycle. Well, we were paying other countries to take our plastic. Then they would take it, and there are pictures where they're just dumping it in the ocean. So we as a country paid them to take our waste, and they just simply dumped it in the ocean. We've all heard about the giant plastic garbage pit and things that are floating in the ocean, but this is what I'm telling you. Recycling doesn't work. You just simply have to reduce, reuse, or simply stop. Stop using it. It is killing our planet and ourselves. So it's not healthy for wildlife or other living beings. Here's a loggerhead turtle caught with a plastic bag around its neck. 90% of seabirds, their nests are found with plastic being ingested by their babies, right? They don't survive. You've seen this on TV. My problem with seeing it on TV is they don't tell you what to do. Right? They make this impression, oh, this is horrible, and we all walk away and go on with our daily life. Well, if it's horrible, why do we cook our turkey in a plastic bag? Those volatile organic compounds for ease of clean, I don't know what, I've never done that, right? But at Thanksgiving, you'll see those Reynolds bags, right? And then finally, another picture of landfills, right? You can't recycle this. This is simply garbage. It's not going to be reused. It's not going away. In fact, your choice of a plastic bag, there was a marine study done, I think it was 2021, so just a bit ago. Your plastic beverage holder that your Coke cans come in, or whatever soda of choice, lasts 400 years. Your styrofoam cup that you all have used today lasts 50 years. 50. You all could bring your own mug. You all could bring your ceramic mug, but now that's 50 years on the planet. This is where we have to connect the dots with what we're doing. Aluminum cans, at least they're recycled. Those plastic grocery bags, 1 to 20 years. An average use of a plastic bag is 12 minutes. If you are buying this at the grocery store, do you really need them to put it in a plastic bag? No, I think you can cart it, right? You can carry this. You don't need one of those bags. You don't need a bag to carry your ass around, right? You can stick it in your purse. We all have big bags and big purses. So I think connecting that also, those little plastic water bottles, again, here's my Jewish Italian guild. 450 years on the planet. For your convenience, whenever Somerset County has invested millions in healthy water, what do we hear about though? Flint, Michigan. Oh my gosh, we can't be like Flint, Michigan. So we have gotten this notion that our drinking water that comes out of the tap isn't safe. And these little plastic bottles are safer. They leach oil into what you drink. You wouldn't go to a gas station and go, oh, at the gas station, right? That's what you're doing with your plastic water bottles. Just simply stop. Okay, so if I haven't guilted you enough, let me give you some ideas to change, right? All right, my favorite product is Who Gives a Crap? I do. I give a crap. So these products come with cheeky little sayings on them, right? The answer is yes. But here's the thing about this Kleenex box. No plastic. It's made from reusable bamboo. One day I was in Ligonier, driving through Ligonier, and a wood truck was coming through, and I burst into tears because I saw all those Pennsylvania hardwoods that are being used for our noses or our bottoms. And I thought, I've got to change. Toilet paper. The company Who Gives a Crap, which has a U.S. presence, gives profits, a certain percentage of their profits, to have plumbing in third world countries. So I am willing to support that. Also, paper towels, bamboo paper towels. Very sustainable, and guess what? They are not wrapped in plastic. You go to Walmart and you pay the same amount of money for this, and you get this big plastic thing that says, danger of suffocation if you have this plastic bag. These come for me every month or two in a cardboard box. A guy delivers them, and I have my supply then for a couple of months. Our own Phipps Conservatory, right, does biodegradable silverware. If you're going to use any plastic silverware, use this. They're one of the noted cafes, right, in the country for sustainability. If you are washing, I forgot to bring my wool water balls, or wool dryer balls. Don't use those dryer sheets. You know about microfibers, right? Microfibers all through our water. Don't use them, just simply, they are smelly. You can spray some essential oil on your wool dryer balls and have the same beautiful smell that you want instead of some canned commercial smell that all of those things are made from. Here is my dusting cloth. It's a sock that my son has outgrown, and I go up and down, I spray whatever it is, I go up and down my stairs with this, or I dust my dining room table. I don't need a Swiffer. I have either old rags or old towels. I might use the Swiffer thing, but I don't need those microfiber things. I'm going to use something like this, and I will use a reusable cloth to clean my glasses rather than these. Again, you are proliferating plastic pollution by using these. You can get a little vinegar and water and spray it on your glasses, use a reusable cloth, and be good to go. This is one of my favorite finds lately, Blue Land. Blue Land, and if you don't have a piece of paper, I will promise to send you some of these ideas via email, if you like them. Blue Land is dishwashing soap. So you can see it's a powder, right? It works the same way as liquid dishwashing soap. So I've taken and reused my Dawn thing. I open this package, I dump it in here, and it's powder. You put it on your reusable cotton cloth, not a sponge, and you sprinkle it on there. It suds up just like everything else, and it's brilliant. It is brilliant. So I ordered 6 at a time, and I have them. Does anybody here use an exfoliant for your face, body, any of those? Okay, so those are nurdles that are in there, unless it specifically says that it's made from apricot husks. I found this. It's an exfoliating soap. Again, this is a bar of soap, right? Don't buy soap that isn't a bar, right? This is able to be biodegraded. And it has coffee in it. Smells wonderful, and it's a great choice. Toothpaste, Bite toothpaste. Instead of using plastic toothpaste tubes, wonderful way to have an alternative to toothpaste. You can make your own toothpaste. I have a recipe for it. You use coconut oil, some essential oils again, some baking soda, and your teeth are nice and bright. Okay, did anybody smell me when I walked in today? I hope not, other than I don't even have perfume, maybe hair things. But this is my Bio Rock. I have used a salt stick for my deodorant for probably 40 years. Why? Because in the deodorant that is marketed to us for convenience on a daily basis, there's aluminum chlorhydrate. What is aluminum shown to be an accompaniment to? Is breast cancer and memory loss. So my little salt stick is made up of biodegradable cork, and so I use this in my armpits, my salt stick. So biodegradable trash bags, and then my other favorite company, Drops, drops.com. You can get laundry pods, you know, like Tide has in those big orange plastic tubs. No plastic tub, cardboard box, right? Drops has laundry tabs, you just drop them in, you're good. You have cardboard, it's the same price after everything is said and done. And then, you know, it kind of is like, really, Walmart has these trucks that drive around and that says, save money, live better, save money, right? It is not always good to save money. It is not always good to make the cheap choice. We have to begin thinking beyond price. What is the ultimate price? So, I talked about fashion, all right? Let's go there for a second. Because the fashion industry has been one of the biggest polluters of plastic. Every time you buy a new fleece item, It is made of plastic. Fleece is plastic. Fleece was not around 40 years ago. Do not buy, as a Christmas shopper, a new fleece item. Go to your Goodwill store, look for an old fleece item, because, again, it's plastic. Do you believe there's been never a study done of how much plastic is too much? So if you're using it in your bowls, in your eating, on your body, and then you're wearing it, there's never been a study. Why do you think that is? Because we've been marketed and sold that this is the way that we should be. So one thing, I talked about fashion, these pants are recycled plastic bottles. So Rocks and Indigo is a brand, maybe younger people than us wear them, but I kind of like the idea of recycling and upcycling. Puma is another one of my brands for my son that I use because they upcycle, they do a lot of different things with their clothing. So recycled threads, recycled denim, here's Puma. Make sure that when you're buying things, I only now buy linen, flax, cotton, or wool. That's all. If I look at it and I see, oh, it has elasting in it, or it has polyester. We've all enjoyed the TJ Maxx hunt. I've enjoyed that hunt. It has been so much fun to go and buy cheap things at TJ Maxx. I've loved it. But it is not sustainable for our Mother Earth. It is not sustainable for our planet. So, and whether you're thinking about beeswax paper, everybody's seen that by this point. There's also the recyclable or biodegradable washcloths that you can buy at Phipps. And, you know, I don't think anyone wants to be, you know, the contributor to our planet in peril, right? We have to make different decisions. So, lastly, if I have not overwhelmed you too much with this, that I'd like to talk about Christmas, because it's coming, right? And we all have to make that decision. I think typically it's women that are buying stuff, right? So, I looked in one of my newest magazines, well, newest, it's a couple years now that I've gotten it, is Country Living UK edition, right? The UK edition. There's so many great ideas in here that are nature-based. And so here is their thing for Christmas. All our decorations are based on nature and the garden, with plenty of flickering candles and fairy lights. They don't talk about inflatables in this magazine, right? They don't talk about light-up garland that goes up and down our stairwells. In fact, what they talk about is they will not even allow children in the EU in the same room with a fake Christmas tree. Why? Because of the volatile organic compounds that comes off of all of that plastic. You may have seen, this is another video you can look up, Balsam Hill, right? Balsam Hill Christmas, but your catalogs are coming soon. If you haven't already gotten them, made to look like real Christmas trees. All that is plastic, right? It's all plastic. I looked, because you can see how passionate I am about this, I looked to find a video of, is there a video of China and these people making these Christmas trees? Not one to be found. And they're all made in China, right? But if you want to blame this on China, don't, right? The U.S. is the biggest waster of plastic. It is not China. We will pay them to do it. But finally, as you think about China, or as you think about Christmas, do not buy an inflatable. Really? Or do not buy these light-up garlands that you can easily do with some pine and some beauty. You know, we're all creative people if we have gardens. So I'd like to suggest that, you know, last year there was a big supply chain issue, right? Oh my gosh, Christmas was coming, but what about the supply chain? We wouldn't get all of our Christmas crap from China, right? So what are we going to do? It's going to be horrible, right? So what are we teaching our children, right? What are we teaching them? Especially when you're buying, I used to love as a kid, you know, those Hershey candy canes that were made, and here's the red top, and then that. Today, just like, I can buy those in foil wrap. I don't have to buy the candy cane. Or there's the other plastic egg thing for Easter. Balloons. Balloons are all plastic. They end up in waterways. They end up around something's neck. Don't do balloons. So we have to think about what we're teaching our children. So I'm going to give you one biblical imperative, and it's pretty benign, right? I mean, it's not just Christian. But ask the animals, and they will teach you, or the birds of the air, and they will tell you. And speak to the earth, and it will teach you. Or let the fish of the sea inform you. Let the fish of the sea inform you. Which of these does not know the hand of the Lord has done this? In his hand is the life of every creature and the breath of all mankind. And then I'd like to bring up, I wear a little medallion, St. Francis of Assisi. Why? Because this is what we have, right? This is heaven on earth. He was known as the first ecologist, right? There's a beautiful hymn, Earth and All Stars, Canticle of the Sun, that he wrote. And all of us have heard about Doug Tallamy, right? If you're not in the gardening world, you haven't heard about Doug Tallamy, you're not listening. So I went to the garden convention where I saw Narita and I met Sheila and all these wonderful, wow, what nice people at the garden convention. Doug was there, the rock star of our world, Doug. I told him he's the Bruce Springsteen of bugs, you know. So he is there, and he signed, I was there one night, he signed a book. And then I went back because I didn't have The Nature of Oaks. And I thought, I need to get a copy of that. So Doug then signed my book, and this time he recognized me, I think because of the Bruce Springsteen comment, right? So he says, to Patti, garden as if the world depended on it, right? So the world is depending on us gardeners, right? We women have voices. We can call, I call, right? I'm gonna call the Spoonful of Comfort people who changed their packaging from glass jars to plastic. I call the cornbread people because they changed to GMO corn. I call because I have a voice as a consumer, and that's where my money is going to be spent. But more than that, if you think you can't make a difference, here's a gentleman that changed the type of nets that were used for the sea. One person can make a difference. I like to think that now when you reach for any of your plastic silverware or your plastic bottles, or the next time you have a meeting for a styrofoam with a styrofoam cup, you will think of me. And you will see my angry face on that choice, right? So if I haven't, again, guilted you enough, I suggest that there's a poem that really called to me by Nicolette Souter that goes. It's called Wilder Child. May we raise children who love the unloved things, the dandelion, the worms, the spiderlings. Children who sense the rose needs the thorn and run into windswept days the same way they turn towards the sun. And when they're grown and someone has to speak for those that have no voice, may they draw upon that wilder bond, those days of tending tender things, and be the ones. We are the ones, people. We are the gardening people. We are the curators and caretakers of the world. Make it your mission, please. The world needs us. The world needs you. So I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you today. Any questions? Yes. Yes.
You have a dog.
Sorry?
You have a dog.
I do have one.
What do you use to pick up poop from?
Good question. There are now biodegradable dog poop bags. Or I use one that I'm recycling, which is not a great choice, right? But if it's my only choice, then that's what I use. But they are making now biodegradable poop bags. Good question. On the lines of who gives a crap? I do.
Yes. Yes, and you mentioned TJ Maxx. They have biodegradable doggy pickup bags.
Yay, good. There's a resource. Good.
They're a little more expensive.
They are a little more
Maybe
expensive.
a dollar.
Yes.
They're not much more,
Yes.
but they do have them.
Yes. But think about where that dollar's going. The reason why they're more expensive is they don't have an oil company supporting the manufacture of multiple plastic bags. That's why they're more expensive. I'm okay with that. I'm okay to spend that extra dollar and not pollute the planet. Yes.
I'm thinking that those that, like when you go to a rest area or a park, a state park, and they have those where you can put, I'm thinking that those are biodegradable.
Not all of them are. I was just in Twin Lakes the other day and they are not.
Okay.
Yeah, they are not. Yes, yes.
My job requires my hair pulled back, because I'm a server, and sprayed with hairspray. I have tried the ones that are not in an aerosol, you know, but they would still be in a plastic thing, and those sort of make your hair look wet and greasy, and so I go with aerosol. And I don't like it. Any suggestions for a hairspray?
Well, I don't have a specific one, but this book, Zero Waste, 50 Tips for a Plastic-Free Life, has recipes for hair gel, for laundry detergent, for dishwashing liquid. If you wanted to make your own, I used to make my own dishwashing liquid from Castile soap, but there are a number of things in here that she talks about, hair gel, skin cream being one of them. I don't know, I would probably, you have straight hair, I have curly hair, I'd probably use some oil or, you know, argan oil or something, but it still comes in plastic. By the way, have you noticed too that none of the expensive face creams come in plastic? They come in glass. Have you noticed that? So anyhow, I'm sorry I don't have a better solution, but her name is Caroline Peach, P-I-E-C-H. I might look and see if she has a recipe for your own hairspray, something that is more holding this. Yes?
When you use laundry detergent, is the liquid full of plastic?
Have you bought it in a plastic container?
Yes.
Yes.
So if I buy powdered Tide, that's safer?
Is it in a cardboard box?
Yes.
Yes, it's safer.
Anything that's in a cardboard box, powder would be better.
It's better, but you also have to look at the chemical. All of these that come with drops are plant-based, not chemical synthetic solutions.
Right.
It's kind of like the woman at the garden convention that did Espoma. She talked about her organic stuff from Espoma and Miracle Grow, and how that's synthetic and chemical-based, and hers is all organic from Espoma. I was sold, hook, line, and sinker. It's the same concept.
Okay.
What Tide is doing is chemical and synthetic-based, still not great for the water, and I mentioned Tide, it's any of them. What they're doing is plant-based. Same cleaning. I have not noticed any difference in our laundry. Pretty clean.
So if you're wearing something that's washed in the chemical-based, are you absorbing that in your skin?
Absolutely.
Sure, the biggest organ in your body.
Yes, yes. And the same thing with your St. Ives plastic, you know, and this is what I'm saying, there's never been a research study done on how much is too much, right? If you're using a plastic fork, if you're eating out of a plastic bowl or drinking out of a plastic cup, and then you have all this on your skin. Never been a study done. But we don't have a lot of choice, right? Right now our choice is plastic bottles for hair gel, face cream, everything. Go back to the bar soaps. Make your own. Call and tell them you're not happy as a consumer. That's where your biggest change can come from. So.
Our new office only has paper bags.
Yes.
And down in Youngstown, I've seen only paper now. That's a big switch.
Yes. Thank them. Thank you. I'm so glad to see you're caring for our environment. It makes a difference for me as a consumer. I will come here more often because of this.
I see that with paper straws.
Yeah.
Take out containers or paper melts.
Yes. Oh, takeout containers. That was one other thing I wanted to mention. Oh, and this is a take your own, right? And there is this, it's on one of my cards here somewhere. It's nomoreplastic.net. And it's a commentary about if you think it's weird to take your own container, what's not weird about using a plastic utensil once and burying it in the ground for 400 years, right? So take your own container. If you know you're going out to eat and there's too much food wherever you're going, take your own container. Scoop it in, put it in your bag.
What if you get a drink in a plastic cup? If you dump it in your container right away, is that less of a chance of getting?
I try not to get anything in a plastic cup. I request a paper cup. They always glare at me. I request no lid if I'm going through a drive-through. And then I will mention to them, why are you using, here's one other thing. Chick-fil-A in Pennsylvania, the only state that has styrofoam cups for their drinks for Chick-fil-A? Pennsylvania.
Really?
Everywhere else across the country has paper. Why do you think that is?
Somebody works for the styrofoam company.
Is all the oil, all the fracking, all of the things that we have going on, the Sierra Club. That's why we have styrofoam. Now, there are plenty of choices. There are plenty of other choices. So I think it's
Chick-fil-A.
well, call Chick-fil-A. I've done it. I called Chick-fil-A. Hello. Yes. I'm always nice. Yes.
Was it because of that butler plant, you think?
I think it's because of the influence of the oil companies. And the other thing about this article, and I don't want to get political at all, but the other thing about this article that it talks about is there's only, the people in that county are not wealthy people, right? It's put in a waterway where there are 500 people that are diverse and they're not wealthy people.
I don't know if it's still the same as maybe 10 years ago, but 10 years ago, Pennsylvania was known as the state where you can dump your trash. I mean, like, it had more landfills, and it was, more landfills than any other state in the union, and they were mostly poor counties, like Somerset County.
Yes, that in West Virginia, right?
Right.
So I think we have to, so if we cannot change the political machine, we can change what we do on a daily basis, right? We can change that. That's where it starts. That's your definition of convenience, conscience, and Christmas, right? Don't buy plastic stuff at Christmas. You're just perpetuating it, and you're perpetuating it into the next generation who's going to buy those Hershey candy canes, just like my parents did, right? Just do something different. Do something beautiful with milkweed pods.
They'll build houses on this in the future. We won't be here. If you go to Somerset, the community, before you go through the Squirrel Hill tunnels, if you look up to your left, there's a housing community. Spend time in Somerset. That's what it's like.
It's a slide.
There is a music conservatory that's built on this island in Rapa Nui, and it was on CBS Sunday Morning. Well, they took all of the trash that was coming up onto their island, and a musician that was trained in, Eastman School or wherever, went back and they built a music conservatory out of old tires, old things. And you're right, but here's the last thing I'll say. I was born in 1961. I'm the tail end of the baby boomers. So yes, I'm 61 now this year. But we are responsible for this, people, right? It is our generation that did this. So if we're that creative to have done it, we have to be that creative to start it, right? To come up with something different. My husband reminded me on the movie The Graduate, there's Dustin Hoffman and then, oh gosh, I can't remember the other guy's name, but the guy they're talking about, and the guy comes up to him and says, the future is in plastics. That was filmed in 1967. Yes. So we baby boomers must change. Yes.
Like plastic was invented, I don't know, maybe like 1910 or something like that. I forget. It was a long time ago. But it was, plastic water bottles were not popular until 1973. And I think they were made popular by the Coca-Cola company right here in Pennsylvania. There was a particular reason, and I can't remember what that reason was. But it was something like a big flood or something. The Johnstown flood, wasn't it?
Well, no, Pepsi Company bottled water because Johnstown's water was foul for months.
Right.
But I don't think they invented bottled water, they were doing this.
But it got popular, it was popularized.
Yeah, I remember in the 80s, and I thought, oh, Pepsi would find that. Yeah, exactly. And it's not better water than what you would have on your tap. You get a filter if your tap water is bad.
Yeah, I think it was, that, what was it, melamine was in the 40s. Dinnerware. Melamine dinnerware. But here's the thing, 1950, this is what I was looking at. 1950, this was the plastics made and plastic consumption. Now this chart is from 2015. So we went from, let's even talk about 1980. 1980, and there was 100 million tons of plastic produced in 1980. In 2015, there were 448 million tons. Now, that's doubled again, I'm sure, by the time we're talking now in 2022. But the ramp up really occurred I would say if I'm looking at this chart, somewhere from 1980 on. So all the time we've all been around. Yes.
Tell me about medication capsules. Are they plastic?
The capsule for the medication, usually they're not. There's some kind of cellulose. So
They're safe.
Right. But let's gelatin something.
In the containers.
Let's talk about the containers. I mean, there is a company in Pittsburgh that I saw in Pittsburgh Sunday morning or something.
They used to
that
get
was recycled.
paper envelopes.
Yes, they do that in paper envelopes. So, but there is a company in Pittsburgh recycling it. I don't remember the name. Not recycling the bottles, but sending it out to you in a paper disposable thing. So,
You know, I think when they invented plastic in 1910, the draw of it was that it doesn't rust and it doesn't rot.
and
You can buy your melamine dishes and have them forever. The idea of making disposable things out of this is the truly weird thing. You know, it's like, when did we decide to take this thing that never deteriorates and use it for disposable items?
because it wasn't ever connected. We were all sold the definition of convenience. It was never connected with, this is never going to go away in your lifetime, your children's lifetimes, or your great-grandchildren's lifetime. Your styrofoam cup will still be around, right?
Well,
It's
part
never
of it
connected.
too was, if you remember when we were growing up, all the soda, the milk was in a glass bottle.
Oh, yeah.
And
And
you
you
take
had to
them.
return it
You would.
and get it
Then
deposited.
you got your money back.
Yes.
But people didn't want to take the time to take it back, and then they said, it costs money to clean them, and it's easier to pitch.
Somehow it was not subsidized by other companies. I was thinking about, in preparation for this, toothpaste powder. That's how old I am, right? It used to come in a metal jar, and you put it on your toothbrush, and you brush with toothpaste powder, right?
We had toothpaste in a metal tube.
Yes, in a metal
It was a metal
tube,
tube.
Yep. So I also want to just say one thing. If you're going to use reusable, do stainless steel. Don't do plastic.
What year was plastic invented?
That's what I'm checking.
It's going back before 1950, so
Okay.
somewhere around 1950.
Yeah.
But there is hope, right? Oh, I'm so sorry. Gosh, I don't know what, I'm so sorry.
She talked about our glass bottles. When I went to Guatemala, it was all our old Pepsi and Knee-High and with a cap on it.
You're
That's what you bought soda in over there.
Yeah.
There's some states that are forbidding plastic, you said that they were supposed to be eliminated, the plastic bags in grocery stores,
Yes.
by 1922 or something like that. I mean, 2022. Anyway,
I don't have a problem with that.
there's some states that are already forbidden them.
There are. Delaware, I was at Bethany Beach, and they are outlawed plastic bags.
And also plastic water bottles too.
Yes.
Maryland hasn't had plastic bags in the grocery store in years. My girlfriend was from Bethesda. She would carry her groceries out in her own homes.
Yeah.
Or
We
take
can
them
do
to
that.
reuse
We
them.
can all do that, right?
When we had our
She's been
lunches,
doing it for years.
we had wax paper.
Wax
Our
paper.
sandwiches wrapped in a wax paper
Yes.
bag.
Yes.
With a paper bag.
Yep.
We had lunch meat sandwiches that kept till
Yep.
lunchtime.
That is
Not
another
being
thing.
able to-
Yes. Only buy wax paper. I use wax paper and
Aluminum foil.
That's it.
Aluminum foil. That's it.
I'm just glad you guys are doing some of the things. Now, hopefully, I've
This
given
is
you
like
a
a
lot of
blast from the
choice
past.
and a lot of thought things to think about. So, thanks for having me today.
Thank you.